I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Omega. Today, I will be your guide to the features and heritage of the Omega Speedmaster 57 chronograph, part of the 1957 60th anniversary Trilogy series. This watch is one of 3,557 manufactured, a versatile 38.6 millimeters in stainless steel. The watch pays homage to the very first Omega Speedmaster, the CK2915 of 1957. Now, the watch is a modern timepiece in every respect, but it features historically evocative cues that take you back to the 1950s and the formative years of the world's most famous chronograph. You can see that the case is very true to history. Minimally beveled, the case form with alternately brushed, that is satin finished, and polished surfaces is a jewel in metal, historically evocative but modern in its finish and specification. It flows into a bracelet that can be described the same way, with high polished shoulders, polished flanking links, and satin finish down the center. You can see that underneath, broad channels allow the wrist to aerate on hot days while ensuring that they will not pinch skin or pull hair. The bracelet is fully sizable with screws in the removable links, and the clasp, though featuring the vintage Omega Marquis logo, is contemporary in its substance and style with satin finished flanks, trigger release, and a satin finished top, beautifully cambered on the outside. On the inside, it inspires confidence. Milled out from steel, it feels as though it were hewn from a solid block of steel alloy. And in another modern flourish, for the convenience of the owner, there is a push-button slider that allows micrometric adjustment, that is, taking in and taking out length without requiring the intervention of a jeweler or a jeweler's tool. Now, you can see that the watch does recall its historical forebear with a great degree of authenticity. Of course, the original innovations present and correct, starting with the signature style, but also including the tachymeter scale in metal, external to the watch rather than printed onto the dial. The dial itself evokes those first 1957 Speedmaster watches, before it was the Moon watch, before it was the Professional. Many of these features recall that original historic prototype, starting with the applied Omega logo, the vintage Omega and Speedmaster script, the broad arrow style hour hand, oversized Dauphine, lancet seconds hand, and then the Alpha style hands in white on the registers. Now, although the luminescent paint here is super luminova, and thus it glows brilliantly in low or no light, nevertheless it has been colored to resemble original radium that may have aged over the decades since the late 1950s. Original examples of the first Speedmaster very much resembling this dial today in coloration and character. Moreover, the watch features what Omega describes as a black tropical style coloration to the matte dial base itself. Now, inside the case is a famous and still flight qualified Omega Speedmaster chronograph caliber. It's the legendary caliber 1861. 18 jewels and manually wound with a 48-hour power reserve. It beats away to stately and traditional 21,600 vibrations per hour. Now, it is not just a classic chronograph caliber, but true to Omega's heritage, not just from the 1950s. The exterior of the watch pays homage to that, but this watch has the heart of the Moon watch, the very same Lamagna-based caliber that has ticked its way into legend and the hearts of timepiece enthusiasts. Now, it's protected robustly inside the case and underneath a domed vintage plexiglass style crystal. It's important to note that of the Trilogy watches, only the Speedmaster 57 features an historically accurate and evocative plexiglass or thermoplastic, sometimes known as hesselite. It creates a gorgeous off-axis distortion, as you can see, just as the first owners of the very first examples would have achieved, would have experienced, would have marveled at while taking their timepieces home from the original dealers in the original 1950s era of their birth. Now, the watch has a versatile size of 38.6 millimeters, so it is neither petite nor oversized. A handsome blend of modern refinements, materials, and engineering with timeless historic fashion. If the question is, will this watch age well? The answer has to be, it already has. See this modern classic on our website, govbergwatches.com.